Hello and welcome to Navigating the Chapters of Challenge with Tele. Today I've got Bernice Langley in the house with me, and I'm just going to ask Bernice to introduce herself briefly and say a quick hello to everyone, and then we'll get straight into it. So say hello to everyone, Bernice.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bernice Langley. I'm a specialist in autism, and I'm also the CEO for World Changing Center Charity in the UK, and I provide services for autistic children in the community and in schools. I do a lot of outreach work, and I do a lot of intervention to help them reduce sensory overload.
Okay, thank you very much. And today we're going to be talking about dealing with children who have slow development and autism. And Bernice is going to share her own personal story about her son who had slow speech delay and some kind of slow development. And we're just going to talk about that, and she'll give us some light into how to deal with this situation. So straight away, I'm just going to ask, when did you know that there was something wrong with your son?
When my son was 3 years of age, I used to work night shift in the hospital, and I'll pick him up in the morning. So one morning I came home, I just decided to play with him because he's normally sitting down watching TV whilst I'm sleeping on the sofa. That's the usual thing parents do. Mm-hmm. So I was feeling guilty. I said, let me play with this child. And when I sat on the floor with him, started playing with my son, there was no interaction. It was not even looking at me. And I went like, wow, there's something here. So I turned the TV off. I started doing all this play thing we do, like parents sing and do all this thing, nothing. And I went like, okay. So I got panicked.
Okay.
And I called the agency I was working for nights. I canceled all my shift. And I remember telling the guy on the phone, say, there's fire on the mountain. And then the guy was asking me, what do you call the fire brigade? And I said, no, it's just a phrase we use in Africa. Fire on the mountain is a problem in the house. Yeah. So I say, can you cancel all my shifts? He said, oh, is that so? I say, yes, I need to take my son to the hospital. So I took him to the GP, and then the GP did all the tests for him, and then they refer us to speech and language, which they contacted the school. So we went for like 2 weeks intensive speech and language therapy. And I said, okay, we have issue here. So after the speech and language therapy session, I asked the school if I can volunteer for them in the school just to watch my son and learn. Okay,
so there's a school he was going to already?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went through all the plan, the IEP plan. It was first individual educational plan. Now they've changed it to EHCP. Okay. Yeah. So I started walking through with the school to support him. I'll ask questions, but I was not allowed to work in his class. Okay. So I was working in the next class next door. So that's how we started the journey.
So when you initially got that report that he had a problem, when the doctors confirmed that there was really a problem, how did that make you feel as a child of God, as a Christian?
I cried because I don't have a clue what was in front of me. I didn't know how to deal it. Who do I talk to? I remember I called my parents and they said, oh, go to church, go and pray, because that's the only way we all know. So I found a church in Woolwich. It was this church in Woolwich. It was a Pentecostal church. You know where Leader is? Opposite there. So there was a church there. I started going there, and I will sweep the church. I will clean. I will do everything. And I'll be praying and crying and coming back home, taking my son to school. And I will do that every time. So he had speech delay, actually, but it wasn't autism. Okay. So, but they thought because part of the spectrum for autism is speech delay. Okay. And for me, I felt guilty because I was not stimulating it enough. And the caretaker, the nanny, doesn't speak English. Okay. So that was one of the challenges. Okay. And I started learning about that, and then the school will put me through some trainings. They will help me. I'll ask questions. So I started working with the school, and the speech and language therapy. So I've got all my files here for you. So I work with them. I listen to them. And that was very intense time for me
Yeah.
because I had to stop work and then watch over my son completely. So I have to make so much sacrifice. Yeah. And by then, I didn't have papers. I was going through home office issue. I was trying to find a proper job. I was trying to look after my son. So there was like so many things going on.
It must have been really traumatic for you at that time.
Very, very.
Yeah.
So I was alone with him and I was doing everything. But the childminder was very good, even though she didn't speak English. So
Okay.
that was fine.
So you said you didn't stimulate him. Was it just because you were not speaking English to him, or you were not spending more time with him? Is that why you felt you didn't stimulate him enough? Or because, I mean, the caretaker, even though she wasn't speaking English, was spending time with him. So that could have been some form of stimulation, or how? Can you explain that a bit more?
Spending time with a child is one. Two, it's stimulating the child. Me and you, our brain needs to be stimulated.
Okay.
If your brain is not stimulated as a child, it slows your speech,
Okay.
it slows your interaction, because they depend on us to be
Okay.
able to explore the world around them.
Okay.
Because everything starts from home and the child copies you. How you talk, how you say certain things, the child copies you. They even dress like you. So
Yeah.
we mirror our parents,
Okay.
how they speak. Even if our parents speak a different dialect, we learn from them at a younger age.
Yeah.
So everything starts from home.
Okay.
The home is the norms and the values in the home. That's what shapes the child. Like they said, you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
And if you look at autistic children, what happens is, because when they're in that environment, for example, my son that was not autistic, but because the childminder did not speak English,
Yeah.
I was not available to be taking him to activities.
Okay.
I was not available to be playing with him
Okay.
the way he's supposed to be played with.
Okay.
As a child, read stories for him,
Okay.
talk to him in the way he understands language, and take him to groups. This is the difference between us and the white people. I'll clear it that way. They take their child more weekends to activities. They go out with them. They watch them. So that's how the children build confidence. They're able to interact with other children, and they're able to pick their children quickly when they have issues like disability or autism, those kind of things, and they get early help compared to us.
Okay.
So those are the things, because when the children are young, they said they can speak more than 5 languages because it's all to do with the brain stimulation. So, and if we think children are not listening or they don't see at a younger age, no, they will.
See everything.
They see everything. Because their brain is like sponge. They consume everything. They wash you.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes we say, oh, where did you learn that from? I say, oh, no. Look in
child
the
was
mirror.
watching.
It's from home.
It's from home.
So
Yeah.
I think it's the brain stimulation and the language, the way, like the research I'm reading now is about language defect, how language affects the child. Is language a defect in autism, which we don't think so, but some researchers says it is. It is not, because how I speak, if you are speaking your language to me as your child, we speak English, and then when we finish speaking English, if we want to change to a different dialect from English to your dialect, we have to roll our tongue in a different way.
Okay.
Yes.
Something I didn't know.
Yeah, we have to roll, because it's like transition. You're transitioning from one language into another language. And they did a research where they called few parents and say, let's sit down, you speak to your child. How do you play with your child? Because if you watch different culture play with their children in a different way, they speak to them in a different way. Example, when we are talking in our culture, we're more loud and people think we are aggressive. But that's how we speak. That's the norm. Whereas if you come to another culture like the Asian, the Chinese, so they're more subtle. And even if their children are doing something wrong, they're
in a very subtle way they address it.
We are reactive. So that is us. But they don't know about us. This is why you don't have a lot of black professionals in this job. because the other people don't know who we are. They don't know this is a norm in our culture. And sometimes they do misdiagnose a lot of children who have autism.
Okay.
For behavioral.
Oh, behavioral issues. Okay.
Oh, they're autistic. I said, no, they're not autistic. It's a culture thing. That's how they behave in the culture. So you get to understand the culture more before you start diagnosing the child.
Okay. So you noticed your son had an issue because you were trying to play with him and he wasn't responding. What other things could trigger a parent to know that there's something wrong, apart from symptoms like that? What else could a parent notice in the child that would make them think, something is not quite right?
Okay.
In terms of speech delay and autism and stuff like that.
I did, in the book, I also wrote about early diagnosis for autistic children. One thing we are born with, it's a natural instinct. We suck our thumb when a child is born. It's natural. They grab things. It's natural. You don't have to teach them. And they pull, they crawl, natural. There are things that are natural instinct for every human being, which they don't have to teach them. It comes natural. And when your child is autistic, they don't know those things because of the five senses, where I always tell people, when you have an autistic child, the first thing you notice in your child, the five senses. Okay. But they have seven senses. We have 5.
7?
Yes.
Wow.
The sixth one is movement. I can't remember the seventh one. So it's movement. And now they have 8. So they're moving on with it. Okay. And
so they are more evolved than the rest of us.
Oh, yes,
if you look at it from that point of view.
They're very unique people. They're just different compared to us. And this is why people have to adapt to these children rather than they adapt to us, because they don't know. So when it comes to looking at how they behave in certain environment, when it comes to their 5 senses, you need to watch that child when the child is growing up, from when they are babies, from 0 to 18 months. Are they crawling? Are they grabbing? Are they, when you carry your child, they'll be looking at you. And if you're walking past, the child follow you with your eyes. Does your child do all these things when they're young, within that 0 to 18 months? Do they wake up? Do they sleep? What's their sleeping pattern like? What's their smile? Do they look at you and smile when you're breastfeeding them? Because our children do all that. But those are the signs you have to look for. Because, and again, sleeping, some people will say, oh, my child sleep, my child is fine. They sleep the whole day, they don't disturb me. Oh, no. Pay attention. Okay. You need to watch the child.
Okay, so what about the sleep will make you worried?
If your child sleeps continuously, they don't cry, they don't disturb you, they don't do any of these things that, I don't like to use the word normal, other children do. You have to start paying attention to that child. There's something, because it's all to do with the brain. Like I said, me and you, 5 senses are not critical to us. So autistic children, the smell is very irritating to them, for them. The taste, any food, just looking at food, the sight of a food will make them run away. Just tasting certain food which they're not familiar with, they will run away, they cry. Even the sound, a loud noise, they cannot cope with loud noise. They start holding their head and rocking. And they don't have eye contact like me and you, so they're always putting their head down because they don't know how to communicate or interact like the way me and you are doing now. They cannot do it. So there are a lot of signs parents need to be looking for when the baby is young, from 0 to 18 months. Wow.
I'm so glad you said that, because all those things you mentioned, I would never have thought about it, because, I mean, when people say that children are sleeping through the night, you're kind of like happy for them that they're not disturbing their sleep. But
babies can sleep, but they're too much sleep. And again, some of these autistic children will not cry. And you watch their behavior. You can tell when something is wrong with a child. But just because a lot of us are in denial, we are saying, oh, they will get over it. They will get over it. No. We've seen a lot of babies not using normal, because we're told not to use normal. So we've seen a lot of, if you're concern. Ask other people who have babies
around the same age.
Say, how does your baby sleep? What does your baby eat? How do they respond? Do they smile when they see you? Is there a way they communicate with you? Like they want, we want to grab our parents, want them to carry us. Then we'll stop crying. Does your child reach out to you? All these things are things we have to look for.
So you didn't notice any of those things before your child was 3?
My son did all those things. Okay. Like I said,
he's not autistic.
He's not autistic. It's speech delay. The reason why I did not notice the speech delay is because I was not there.
Okay. So when your son was diagnosed as having a speech delay, what did apart from you going to volunteer in the school and everything, because that was something you decided to do, what did the health professionals ask you to do? What did they suggest?
Well, the school referred me to, they have the ASD team, that's the autistic team. Each borough has got ASD team through social services. They provide support for parents in the community, and then they will assign your child. An ASD officer, and then you can have a family liaison officer who will help with the case or if you need help or information. But because lack of resources and lack of information now is very challenging for parents. Before, everything was provided, it's there, easy access. Now it's not because of funding. So I was referred to them, and when I went to them, I go to the library. They refer me to read certain books, to get information online, to attend some training. And I think the training that they were having in a school and Greenwich Borough, because each borough has got a set of training for the whole year for schools, which are free, and some you have to pay for. And they have lots of training for ASD. So because I was volunteering at school, so I had that opportunity when they're going for training. They would
go with them. Okay. What does ASD mean, for those who don't know?
Autism
spectrum something?
Autism spectrum disorder. ASD. That's the short form. It's a kind of abbreviation. For autism.
So what made you then decide, okay, now I'm going to focus on autistic children? And apart from your son having his issues, what else made you decide this is what I want to pursue?
When my son went to university in 2017, I was very happy because he had won at university, did business management, and he had distinction 6th form, and he was doing so well because of the time and effort I put, the extra effort I put into my son. And I used to take him to museum activities with his friends. I'll call his friend just to build his speech and interaction with other children. So he will understand what is going on around him and, be able to express himself. So I was like, wow, if my son can do it, other children out there can do it. So what I'll do is I will step out into my comfort zone.
Out of your comfort zone.
Out of it, and then go help other parents. And I registered my company, and I started doing that. And there was a lot of family that I helped where the parents were not on board at first because I was focusing more on the children. And one day I went to work with a family where the wife and the husband, they had this misunderstanding in the house, and I saw how it affects the child. This child was pulling the chair, throwing the chair, climbing up the sofa, and I was like, what's going on here? There's something wrong here. I can see the resentment between the husband and the wife, and I didn't say anything, and we couldn't work with the child that day. So when I got home, and I said to Mom, Mom, is there something going on? Because the environment mold and shape us. If you have a child who is autistic, if your environment is not calm or quiet, it affects them. Because they feed on you. We feed on each other. Each other's vibes. And if that environment is not calm for that child, it's going to react and it's going to affect him. So this was the problem. But the mom did not take it. She took it personal. I just said, oh, I think my son need ABA therapy. And I went like, oh my gosh.
What's ABA therapy?
It's an intervention activity where we set for them.
Okay.
Where, like, for me, one of the intervention I set for them is like, I have a timer. If you don't listen or if you don't do certain things, follow instruction, I use a timer and said you can sit down for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just to help them with their behavior. Yeah. So she went like, oh no, this is not. I said, the reason why your child was like this today is because there's something going on.
Yeah.
Like, you were pulling him, dad was pulling him, so why? That caused a lot of problems for him and he cannot focus. And that's why they gave the child 1 hour in school and they have to go to work. So they were angry with the school, angry with the situation. I said, look, I think you need to find somebody else. For me, if the environment is not good, it's not calm for that child, I cannot work with that child and the child is not going to be focused. We need to practice breathing exercise. So breathing as I started teaching her, and she was getting more and more overwhelmed. She said, oh, I was upset today because somebody passed away in Africa, blah blah blah. I'm like,
you're not saying what is upsetting you, really.
So I just said, okay, thank you very much. I said, I leave my home very calm, come to your house calm. I need to leave your house very calm and go back to my house. So that was when my spirit, it was like God was speaking to me and say, these are the people you need to be looking at. You need to work with the parents, not the children. And I went like, thank you, God, for this information. Now I focus more on the parent. I say, if we work with your child in school, we teach them certain things, we support them in certain way, we provide routine and structure for them. If you know that routine and structure, you can continue that consistency at home. So the pressure will be less on you and the school and the child as well. So you can work together and help and support each other. Because there's no point the child coming to school, we do all this work and the child cannot go home and relate it to you. So you don't have a clue. So you need to come on board and learn. But some parents don't want to do that. They think it's too much work.
Yeah. So what has been the reaction of, what have you experienced as a reaction of Black parents when it comes to their children being autistic? And when you notice there's a problem and you say, this thing needs to be checked, what has been the response and your experience with them? Because let me not say more. Let me ask the question.
Okay. Throughout my experience for over 20 years, what I've learned in our Black community is, when I did the project in Greenwich on the lottery funded us 2016-17, I did it mainly for Black ethnic minority children, and the finding was religion and culture. Those are the biggest barrier we have. Now we have parents, because of the culture they're coming from and the belief system, where they think nothing is wrong with my child, and that denial has set the child back with the religion. Let me address the culture side first. Okay. What the culture says is, this is not acceptable. We don't want this kind of thing in our culture. It is not recognized. They stereotype the parent, they isolate the parent and the child. People will not accommodate your child because you have this child with this condition. Rather than us understanding what this condition is, we will fight tooth and nail with the school, with professionals. And this causes a lot of conflicts, a lot of delay in assessing the child, because you only have 3 chances for that child. Okay. And if they tell you chances number 1, because they have time for all of this
like a time frame.
Yes. Okay. If you miss the first one, by the time you get your mind together, you get the second one. And if you don't get it, by the time you get to the third one, remember the child is growing. Yeah. So this is where the delay is. Okay. Compared to the white child, where if they diagnose them, it's easier to prepare them and set intervention.
They take action quickly.
Thank you. Than us. Yeah. So now when it comes to the religion side, it's God that give man insight, wisdom, power, all these things, yeah? We will say, oh, let's pray. Nothing is wrong with my child. We cast, we bind. It's okay. I said, you can use one hand to pray. Use the other one to do action. Faith without works is dead. So what's the point of you praying? What's your own part? What part are you playing? In life, what you put, that's what you get. I show them my example. I say, I have to go the extra mile for my son. I was praying and I was walking. And that's why I got the result that I got. So, and my son is doing fantastic. So I say, although my son was not autistic, but I've worked with another autistic children, a lot of them in the community who have done transition with. They've gone to mainstream school. They're doing so well because I focus on the parent.
Okay.
I teach the parent. I say, what I have learned over the years, I'm teaching you for free. Every child is different. So tell me about your child. This is how we're going to work with this child. Do not change the structure. It has to be consistent and routine. Me and you, we can change things as we go along. But with them, they don't like change. Once blue is blue, once you position things like this is how they view it. The moment you change it, they become disorientated. Yeah. So you have to understand the condition first and how your child function. If you don't understand that, you're never going to be able to support that child. It's here. There's a lot of ignorance. There is. It's just ignorance. Yeah, that's our major problem.
And I feel that sometimes even in the churches, we don't help people with... well, from what I have experienced, I know this is not necessarily the case in all churches, but what I experienced in the past is that many times in the churches, we don't really help parents who have, or the children, actually, the autistic children. Sometimes you find that when children who have these issues are in the church, when they're acting up, people start to look at the parents, and that makes the parents feel uncomfortable. So what do you think that the churches need to do better to help?
Well, the churches has got lots of professionals. The churches have got doctors, lawyers, all kinds of professionals. And they need to bring in other professionals who have experience and training in ASD, autism, to come and educate everybody. They need to run a training session if it's once a month or twice a month. So everybody's hand is on board. It's not one person. Because if you make it one person, that one person is going to burn out. In case the one person is not in, the children are going to struggle. So everybody should have an idea of how to work with these children, how to support them in the best way possible. Because these children are just different. They are so unique. They are very unique. If they know something, you and I can go to university for 5 years. If they know it, they can do it better than us. So that's the uniqueness in them. Until you find that gift and talent that child have, you'll never be able to enjoy the relationship with your child.
So you need to focus on what they're good at doing, because I think from what I understand, once they find one thing, they just stick to that one thing and they focus on that one thing. So parents need to then encourage them in that area.
Because, for example, if a child is playing with water, like this glass, or pour water 10, 15, 20 times, you as a parent, come on board, do it. Copy them. Whatever they're doing, copy them. It's fun. It's play. We don't play. We don't know how to play.
We don't know how to play? What do you mean?
We've lost play. Okay,
really? In what way?
I did play therapy. Okay. How do you play with your partner? How do you play with your partner? Good. You might do it. Other people don't know. How do you play with your child? It's different from how you play with an autistic child. An autistic child, you have to copy them. You mimic them.
So instead of expecting them to mimic you, you mimic them.
And then you will see the eye contact. They will be looking at you because they can hear the sound they're making from you. And they can see you, and then that will prompt them, because this is one of the intervention we do. We call it intensive interaction. So in that intensive interaction, you copy the child. Whatever it does, if he throw the ball, you throw the ball. If he lifts his hand up, whatever sound he make, you make it, and that will help that child to be paying attention, looking at you.
Okay.
And then there are a lot of ways you can play with that child. And you can incorporate your own activity in there with your play activity whilst that child is, you're copying from that child.
Wow.
So you can take turns. They will follow instructions slowly. Once that engagement is there, that interaction is there, that's it. It's just for you to get the eye contact with them. Okay. And then you build that relationship because they need to be safe. That's why when they go outside, they run all over the place. So because their parents are their safe space.
Okay.
And anything you're doing, they have to see you do it first to yourself before they can do it.
Okay.
Even with food, different kind of food. If they don't see you eating that food, they cannot eat it because it's new to them. It's terrifying. The whole world is like alien to them. We look like alien to them.
Yeah, because they're different from us and we're different.
They don't understand this world we're living. They don't. So we have to go into their own world, how they function, how they see things, how they understand things, how they understand concepts, how they look at things, how they vocalize things, how they smile, because they can just sit and smile and cry.
Yeah.
Because the brain
is doing something different.
The brain is not, how will I put it? I'm careful with my words. The brain is not structure and whatever like me and you understand? Because again, 5 senses. I keep telling people, your brain, the synapse, the neurons, the neuron transmitter, how this neuron transmitter and synapse operates in our brain is different from them. There are some gaps in their own.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like somebody was telling me when they say, do you know when you're speaking, it's like a marble. When you're talking, each word you're saying is like a marble dropping.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the word comes out. We're like, how does that? I want to see how it happened in the brain. That's a new. It's very interesting. Yeah. So it's all to do with the brain activities, the electrical impulses. So
wow. This is really, really, really interesting. I'm learning so much today because, you see that they're totally different. And sometimes some of the parents hide them because they feel embarrassed by them because they're different. What would you say to a parent who has an autistic child in terms of making them feel like they're okay? There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with the child. It's just different. What would you say to, especially our African parents?
We'll focus more on our African parent. And to every parent out there, your child is a gift. Your child is a blessing.
Yeah.
What the gift and talent God has given to this child, you have not even tapped into it. I've worked with children who are so unique and intelligent where they created jobs for their parents.
Wow.
This child is drawing, the Walt Disney pictures.
Yeah.
He draw it and he sell those frames for £30. He goes out and talk about autism, him and his dad. So his dad doesn't work anymore. His dad work with him.
Wow.
And you have children who can paint. You have children who are good with computer skills. You just need to find your child's talent. Your child is special. And bottom line is your child is part of you. And God gave that child to you for a reason and for a purpose. And for me, God used my mess, like my story I was saying. I thought, oh, this is messed up. And here I am now talking about it. Yeah. And it has become a message for me. Yeah. So I'm encouraging every parent. It's a journey. What you do, keep your journal, keep information, get evidence, put them aside. Every challenges we go through, God has something good for us out of those challenges. There is nothing wrong with your child. They're just different in the way they behave. Yeah. And that differences make them unique. So you have to learn how your child function. You have to copy your child. If you don't love your child, why will somebody else love your child? We should not be afraid or ashamed to take our child anywhere. Everything starts from home. If you help your child with the routine and the structure from school, listen to the school, listen to other professionals. You might not like what they're saying because sometimes a lot of our children got misdiagnosed because of the culture. Our behavior, the way we talk, the way the children behave when they go, it's okay. Try and be calm. And this is one thing that I teach online. I teach people about self-love, especially women. I teach them, I say, you have to love yourself first. You're a reflection of who you are. if you, what you have, that's what you will give. You understand?
Yes.
If we don't learn to calm down, we don't have to love ourselves. We don't learn how to create that space for ourselves. It's challenging, but how do you love yourself? It's about being peaceful. Learn how to be soft. Get a soft life. Be calm. Speak kindly. And show a lot of love and kindness to your children, your family. That child is looking at you. If that child wants something, they can come to you. Whether they're doing something wrong or right, let them come to you. Because you are their safe space. You are mommy. You are everything. When they were born.
Mommy or daddy.
Yes, mommy and you're the first person they ever saw when they opened their eyes to this world. So this is why if you cannot help them to live in this world, to understand how things work in this world, who's going to help them?
Gonna help them.
Don't isolate them. Because what happens is when this child, you isolate them, remember they're growing. People don't grow backward, they grow forward.
Yeah.
If you don't put all the system in place, when this child gets to age 18 or 19, government is going to give this child back to you. Because the child finished school.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to do with this child. All they will tell you, oh, there's a college there. You can go there. Oh, there's a center there. How many days can that child go to the center? You don't have much. They don't have money these days to open lots of centers and activities. And most of these parents who has children who are adults now, teenager, they're on antidepressant because they don't know what to do with the child when the child is an adult. You did not put system in place. Sometimes we're busy getting angry with people who are not important in our child's life, getting upset with professionals, getting upset with the local authority. They don't care.
They don't care.
No, because they don't know us. They don't know our culture. They don't know how we function. So this is why the book that I wrote, there's a lot of layers there about who we are, especially in the story section. So people need to come out and say, this is me and my child. This is how we function. This is my culture. This is who I am. Don't be afraid. Because from there, we can learn. Because that child will never go to Africa. That child doesn't know anything about Africa. So you have to start looking at the things you can incorporate into that child's life from your culture, and there are things you have to take out.
Yeah.
Because that child doesn't understand your culture.
That child was brought up here.
Yeah, they were born here. This is their home. So you need to start. I always tell parents, when the child do things, when it gets too much, just do breathing exercise. Because they will watch for your reaction.
Yeah.
And how we react, we're very reactive.
We're very reactive, yeah.
And that's that reaction they go with to school. And that's what people don't understand.
People don't understand. So when they're agitated, you have to be calm.
Very calm. It's very hard.
But it's hard. That's
it's very hard.
It's hard.
No, it's very hard. Do you know what I do when I teach these children in class and when they're all over the place? I just sit down and watch them. I don't do nothing. As long as the space is safe, they're not going to hurt themselves. It's the only time I will react, or when I get up, is when they're hitting other children or they're trying to destroy things or hurt themselves. That's the only time. I don't talk much. I walk up to them and I sit on the floor with them and I teach them. This is wrong. Finish. I'll show them the how to do it. And I'll be patient. They will look at me. I will do it. It's repetition. Everything you do with them, you have to repeat yourself because that's how they learn. The brain, 5 senses, neurotransmitter, synapse, you have to think about all those things. And then the next time they do it again, you do the same thing. But with us, put it there. Go there. Don't do that.
Yeah, we're used to just shouting at them.
They get overload. It doesn't work. You need to speak less and do more action with them. And the only thing you have to do is picture communication. For those who have speech, that's fine. For those who doesn't have speech, do they understand when you say certain things? And sometimes we speak too many words.
Okay.
That is what overload them, and they cannot comprehend. And when the way you speak to an autistic child is different from the way you speak to a mainstream school child. In special needs school or when we work with children, we use the PECs, picture communication, picture exchange communication. We use things they call PECs or symbols. You show them what they're doing now and what they're doing next. They need to understand. They learn through pictures. Everything has to be taught and learned through pictures. When my son was young, because of his speech delay, I use pictures in the house. I write table, chair, bed, everything. I put sticker on everything in the house, from the bedroom to the toilet to the living room, everywhere. And we play. And I'll say, oh, point to the bed. It will go and point to the bed. Point to the TV. It will go and point, because the sticker is there, the symbol is there. So that's how you teach them things, and they visualize it. So the picture helps them all the time. Without the picture, you can say anything. You just words. So the picture has to go with the word. And when you keep doing that, they get to form a visual picture of what. Is this a book? Is this a speaker? Because the label is there. And when you teach them, what are you doing now and what are you doing next? So anytime you want them to do work in school, now you are doing writing. Then next, give them reward. They like reward. Bubbles, Play-Doh, water, all these things, flour, rice, the things. Everything we have access to is right in front of us, but we just don't see them. They're easy to access. These are things that they love doing, but a lot of parents don't like the mess. When you have an autistic child, your house is going to be like a zoo. You have to be prepared for that. You can create a room or a space for them. And once they have that routine, they understand those concepts, they're fine. So symbols, very important. Language. If you want your child to speak and understand what you're saying, use very short word. Give me, show me. Give me, show me.
Short words.
Yes. Point to the table. Point to the chair. Point to the book. Those are the words you use. Very short word, because that's what they understand. Not more than 3 words. Because you overload them. Remember, it's the brain.
Wow. Honestly, this has been really, really interesting. Thank God for a mother like you who actually fought for her child, and now it's leading to, like you said, your mess has now become a message and you're using it to help other parents and everything. That's really, really, honestly, that is amazing. I just wanted to ask you, do you have any specific success story that you could tell us, one child that, apart from your son, because I know now your son is an investment banker. Yeah. Can you imagine that? We just give God praise for that. So any other success story you could share with us?
Okay. I have,
just about before we round off.
I have a child in Greenwich. They live in Woolwich, actually. This child used to run off to the street. He used to jump on the sofa, and he would run out of the classes, ran out of home. So I started working with the mom, and I took her to B&Q. We bought all this stuff, and they gave her a new flat. We had to fight back and forth with the council and the court. She had so many problems. So I was with them till the child settled down. And they gave her this nice house, and she got this balcony. Said, "Oh, I'll do party here. I'll do this." I'm like, "Which party? We're not doing party. This balcony is for this little man. Let's go shopping." She was like, I said, "Yeah, we have to do it. No party in the house. Your child, number one." So she was ready to learn. She was willing to learn because she was alone, and she was like, "Oh, can you help me?" I said, "I don't mind helping you." So we did all that, and I created like a sensory play area for the child. We did water. We did all this sensory thing outside the balcony. And when the child started messing the house, she was like, "Oh, Bernice, I think we need to close this." I said, "No, we're not closing it. You have to adjust, adapt to the child. We have to teach him because it doesn't know the how. That's why he run off, come to the carpet, and then go back. So you have to sit with him, don't leave him. So we work with that child, started doing reading, writing. We did a lot of sensory. After school, I will do a lot of massage. I do a lot of squeezing. I do a lot of sensory play with him, and he will start reading, picture to picture, picture to words. We started building up the child, and we'll do all kinds of things, because he started becoming very attached to me. And his reward for doing good works was McDonald's.
Aww.
So every Friday when I finish work with him, he will say, Auntie Bernice, good work. I say yes. He say, McDonald's. I say, oh boy. So I have to make sure I have spare. So the mom was like, oh, Bernice, I will sort the McDonald's out. So every Friday. I remember when COVID came, and then she was saying, Auntie Bernice coming, Auntie Bernice coming. Then the mom said, no, Auntie Bernice is not coming. Then the mom said, let me call Auntie Bernice on the video. And then I said, oh, Auntie Bernice can't come. And then, because he has a little bit of speech, not too much.
Okay.
But we build it up, and he was able to speak properly. And then he said, Auntie Bernice coming? I said, no, Auntie Bernice can't come. COVID. He said, who is COVID? He was like, oh boy.
Who is COVID?
Who is COVID? Said, because he want to go McDonald's. I said, you can't go to McDonald's. COVID is out there. I said, who is COVID? I said, how do I explain to this child? So I told him, oh, can you explain? He said, I don't know what to say about COVID. I said, okay. So I went online, check and get all this picture stuff and about COVID that they teach children. Yeah. And then I sent it off to mom, and then we talk about it, and I said, show him, let him understand. So one day he went like, oh, Auntie Bernice, can I come to your house? Now McDonald's is not coming. Oh boy, what do I do to this child? So I said, okay, come. But what happened one day, the mom came with him, and then I don't know what mom said to him, told him off. When the child came, jumping all over the place. Bathroom, jumping, he was angry. And I called mom, I say, what did you say to this child? What did you do? Start processing what you did since you left home. And she said it was very naughty, blah, blah. I said, this child does not know how to process information. The only language you understand is happy or sad. Focus with happy. And I said, we cannot do anything. Take him back, wherever you started with. Go back to that same process. Talk to him, cuddle him, encourage him, show him more love. And when they went home, she did all that. And she said, oh, yes, calm down. I say, he is human being first before this condition. So that was, it started going swimming. We started reading and writing. And oh boy, I think he's in year 5 or 6 now.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's doing fantastic. He's doing so well. He went for football, and mom sent me the photo. Oh, look at your boy. He's doing football. He can read. They don't have learning disability. Autistic children don't have learning disability. They can read any book, those who have speech. Once they understand how to read the words, they can read it, but it's just the comprehension. They don't have to comprehend things. So you have to piece things together for them. Put it on. That's where the intervention comes. We do pictures, we do picture to picture, word to word, and then we form language for them, where there's a program called Colorful Semantic. You're building a noun, verb, adjective, just to build a sentence, short sentences. So,
wow, thank you so much. This has been, honestly, really, really informative for me, because I don't know much about it, so it's been really good. Before we go, I know you're writing a book about it. What's the book called? And also, if people want to get in touch with you and they need your help, how can they contact you? And
okay, the book is called Autism and Ethnicity Through the Eyes of the BAME Group. The BAME Group is the Black Asian Ethnic Minority, because our group is given that title, so people will know this is the group we're dealing with. Yeah. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can type in Autism Gifted Hands on social media. You will find me there. I will give you some flyers. I came with some flyers as well. So you can contact me on social media, and you can contact me by email, bernicelangley70@gmail.com.
Okay. Bernice Langley 70@gmail.com. Anyway, I'll put all that information in the show notes, so whoever's listening to this, you can always just go back into the show notes and all the information will be there if you need to contact Bernice. So just before we go, I always like to end this show on a note of hope. So what can you say to people out there who might be struggling with an autistic child or with a child going through some kind of slow development or speech delay? What can you say to encourage them? A word of hope, some scripture, anything you can say.
First, God said, I create you in my image and likeness. And I believe everything God has created was good. You are special. You are God's masterpiece. God loves us the way we are. And we have to love ourselves. I always tell people, what you don't have, you cannot give. If you don't love you first, we have a problem. So love you first. Love the way your face is designed, your color, your makeup, everything about you. It's yours. You own it. If you don't love it, you don't own it. People are going to be saying a lot of things, but do not focus on opinion. Opinion changes. The truth is you. Who are you and whose are you? You are God's masterpiece. So we have to focus as Christian what God say and who God say we are. Rather than listening to too many noises around. This is why we get distracted, because we are worried about people's opinion and what they think, what they feel about us. You cannot live your life like that. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be stressful. You're going to be all over the place. And limit your circle. When your child have autism, limit your circle with friends and family who don't understand about your child's condition. Because they will never understand what you're going through. Except the people who are willing to help you, the people who are willing to educate, to learn with you and support you in a different way. They are the one that you put in your circle. You don't hate anybody. And again, the phone, texting and calling. When I have a child like who is have speech delay or autistic, I don't talk much to people who don't know about the condition. I make friends with people who know how they can support me so I can reduce the stress in my life, so I can help my son. It's about developing and supporting your child. That should be your focus. It's not about feelings and emotion, because there's too much feelings and emotion in our culture and guilt. You have to work with those things and try and focus more on the child, because people will bring all kinds of confusion for you. So your mind has to be at peace. You need to do you. Go for massage. Go for self-love. Go do pampering. And ask some of your friends and family, go for one day weekend. Just go and relax. Do your nails, do your makeup. Just feel peace. Relax yourself.
Anything that makes you feel at peace.
Yes. We need to do it once in a while, even if it's once a month. Because if you are with that child every day, out, you're burnt out. It's not good. But because we don't have that support in our community, nobody don't want to carry that burden. Oh, your child is this. That's why if you have a structure for your child, if you have that routine for your child, the friends and family who are in your circle can accommodate that child. They can learn as well. You can teach them about your child, and then that support will be within the circle.
And you can take a break and rest.
So you need that break to, to relax your mind. And breathe. That's a good one.
And
breathe and exercise in and out.
I think we all need to take time off to just
breathe. With too much on the go.
Too much.
We're not having a break.
No, there's just too much going on, and we're all over the place. But
once we've done the book launching and everything, I'm going away. I've said to my self-love. We're doing self-love.
That's good. Oh, thank you so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate your time. I really thank you for everything. And I look forward to the book coming out soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening to that insightful, very, very useful conversation that we need to have more of, especially within our community. We don't talk about these things often, and I'm hoping that this has blessed somebody. I have truly been blessed by it. I have learned a lot, and I'm hoping that somebody out there has been blessed by this, and that you will go out and then just take time to breathe and just believe that it is well. God has given you a child that's created for his own glory, and you will see the glory of God in that child's life. But you just need to take time to understand that child and learn about the child. And thank you so much. And hopefully we'll catch up again sometime soon on another podcast. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tilly. Thanks for having me. Bye.